Hello, and welcome to AP World History. My name is Miss Lamb or Dr. Lamb. Either one's fine. I truly don't care. I will be guiding you through the last 820 years or so of human history over the next semester, and I'm excited to teach you. I'm going to walk you through in this video a couple of basics about this course that will hopefully help you hit the ground running when we first meet on Wednesday. I'm going to talk about where to find information. I'm going to talk a little bit about technology stuff, and I'm going to talk about what a typical day and a typical week in this course look like, with the aim of getting you set up to know kind of what's going on as soon as we start meeting. All right, I'm going to start you off on Google Classroom because presumably that's how you found this video in the first place. But the first thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you this approximately 12,000 times in the next 2 weeks, is that the place you want to look for all information is a document titled the Unit 1 Schedule. That's going to take you through the first 6 weeks or so of this course. Then, predictably, we will move on to Unit 2, and I will post a Unit 2 schedule. But you always want to look at the unit schedule first. Classroom is going to be a place where I post new stuff, so if you really want to be on top of every possible document, you can follow those alerts. I would actually recommend muting some of those notifications so you don't get a million emails. Classroom is going to be an important place for us to turn in work. There's going to be a number of documents that I ask you to submit on Google Classroom, so you need to be a member of that classroom. You need to be able to use it, but the most important place is going to be the Unit 1 schedule. So let's pop that open and take a look. So this document, I will create one for every unit. I will update it by every Sunday and shoot you a quick announcement via Google Classroom when it is ready to go with a full week's worth of activities and links. You're going to want to have it open pretty much all of the time, including during class, because I'll often ask you to open up some links during class that can be found in the Unit 1 schedule. So let's scroll through here and see what we have. At the top, if you're interested, if this is the kind of thing that you really want to get going on before class starts, you can take a look at the syllabus. We'll read it together later this week, but if you want to look at it, it's there. It's got lots of useful information about course policies. The next section you want to notice is this list of links right here. Those are there just for your reference, so that if you're ever looking for the Zoom link, if you're ever looking to find Aspen, if you're ever looking to sign up for my office hours, those links are right there for you at the top of every unit schedule. One thing to note here is that we will be using Zoom for our class meetings. It's possible that we'll change over to Google Meet later in the semester if Google gets it together and adds some features that they've been promising all summer. But right now, Zoom has some stuff that I really need to make class work that Google Meets does not, so that's what we're going to use. I think that many of you probably have used Zoom in previous classes or in other contexts in the spring of 2020. Please reach out to me or use the resources that are listed in this unit calendar if Zoom is unfamiliar to you. I will give you some explicit opportunities to practice Zoom during the first couple of weeks of school, because I know that people have different levels of familiarity with Zoom, but it's important that if you want some extra time, if you want to get a jump on that, I've got some resources in this document for you. So scrolling down now to this section called the unit calendar, you can see mapped out what we're going to do on every day of the first 3.5 weeks of this class. And I'll keep adding to this as I plan. I generally try to be at least a week or two ahead of you. So for every day, you can see a topic, and you can see for this first week and a half, I've got a link for every day. So you can see that on our first day, Wednesday the 16th, we're going to introduce ourselves to each other. We're going to review some basics of Zoom. And then if I skip forward to next Monday, the first full day of school, we're going to introduce you to 6 themes in world history, which is an important through line of this course. The first half week is going to look weird. You probably figured that out already. So I'm going to click on this link and jump down to the bookmark for Monday, September 21st, and see what's going on in the 6th theme in that lesson. So every day, I'm going to give you basically 3 categories of stuff, and the links to everything you need are in this unit schedule. You can often also find that stuff posted on Google Classroom, but for the second of 3,000 times, I'll tell you that you should look in the Unit 1 schedule first. So before class, I'm going to always ask you, or almost always ask you, to complete some activities. And they're due when they're due for a reason. generally, the activities that I'm going to ask you to do are preparatory for class. They're going to enable you to participate fully and help your classmates learn and have a more interesting conversation in class. And so they're due before class for a reason. You can see the syllabus from my late work policy, but I highly encourage you to stay on top of that stuff and get it done in advance, because it's going to make our time together a lot more valuable, not just for you, but for everybody else in the space. So if I'm looking at Monday the 21st, I can see that I'm supposed to do 4 things before I show up to class on that day. I'm supposed to turn in this thing called an introductory letter. I don't know what an introductory letter is, so I'm going to click that link. It's going to pop me over to an assignment on the AP World History Google Classroom. Here you can find some instructions. And then if you have the student view, which I don't, you'll be able to actually attach a document and turn that into me before class starts. Second, I'm supposed to review this set of materials called Geography and Chronology. That's for your background information. You don't need to turn in anything related to it, but you'll want to take a look at it before class on Monday. Third, I'm supposed to watch this lecture on the 6 themes of world history. If I pop that link open, I will see YouTube open up, and you will be able to see my beautiful face twice on the same screen, which I'm sure is super, like, the luckiest day of your life. You should watch that. You should take notes, which is something that we'll talk about early in this class as well. And then finally, when you're done with that, you're going to pop back out of YouTube link and take this self-assessment quiz. There's a quiz almost every day of this class. I know that that will make some of your knees tremble, but I promise that it is not meant to be a big, scary thing. My quizzes in this class, because they're taken at home, because I'm not there to proctor or check the time or make sure that you're not asking a friend about stuff, these quizzes are all going to be graded for completion, and their purpose is not to intimidate you. They're there for 2 things. One is so that I can get a sense of what you're getting, what you're not getting, what I can move on from versus what I need to spend some more time on with the class. And then the other, the more important one, is for you to be able to check your own progress. If you read my syllabus and if you read my principles for online learning, which are all linked in the Unit 1 schedule, you can see a little bit more advice from me on how I think you can best approach these quizzes to make them valuable for your self-assessment. But the big message I want you to know right now is that you shouldn't be scared of these. You should take them as an opportunity to assess your own knowledge in a way that's going to be really useful to you. So before class, I've done all of these 4 things. Once the time arrives on Monday, 9:21, which is going to be 9:10 a.m., I think, if you're in period 1, and 11:10 a.m. if you're in period 3, I'm going to pop back up to the top of the schedule. I'm going to click the Zoom link for whatever my class session is. I'm going to open that session up, but then I'm also going to keep this unit schedule open, because you'll also notice that there are some things that I'm going to ask you linked in here to look at during class. And so in this instance, it looks like I'm going to ask you to look at the slides that I'll also be showing on Zoom during class, so you want to pop those open for class. And then I'll also ask you to look at the reading guide, because in that class on Monday the 21st, we're going to talk about what your reading homework looks like. Just a word about that while I have the document open. You are going to spend a fair amount of time in this course with your textbook. Right now, you can find all the necessary PDFs on Google Classroom. Once the add drop period closes, CRLS will find a way of getting those physical textbooks to you, so you have a little bit less time that you need to stare at a screen. We'll talk in class again about how to take notes. And if you look at this document, you can see some optional resources on how to take notes, specifically in this class and more generally in the high school and college level reading context. But we'll talk about it probably next Monday or Tuesday. So you should know that in general, you're going to have a pretty big chunk of textbook readings due every Thursday. We'll shift that schedule up a little bit when Thanksgiving gets in the way, but mostly you're going to have big chunks of reading due on Thursday. You're going to turn in handwritten notes via Google Classroom. You're also going to take a self-assessment quiz, which again is graded for completion, but hopefully will help you just double check that you process that reading adequately. So that's the kind of big weekly thing that you want to be prepared for. And again, if you want to look forward in time and see what that rhythm is going to look like, the document to go to is the Unit 1 schedule. So here's these 2 documents that I've asked you to look at during class on the 21st. And then finally over here, you will find something called a column called after class, where I'll generally ask you to complete an exit ticket. If I pop this open again, I'm going to see that it's not like It shouldn't be super time consuming. This quiz is going to take you about 5 minutes. Sometimes I will ask you to actually answer some questions in writing. Sometimes I will just ask you, what questions do you have for me? How are you feeling so far? Sometimes I'll give you a couple of multiple choice questions. Sometimes I'll just check in on a project that you're working on. But you're generally going to have an exit ticket, and they, again, serve that function of letting me know how things are going for you, where I can speed up, where I need to slow down. Um, I'm going to stop here because we'll talk lots in class when we're all together and when you can ask me questions in real time about the sort of weekly rhythms of this class and also what AP World History is about. The short answer to that question is everything humans have ever done since the year 1200, but we'll go into more detail on that later this week when we're all together. Right now, I'm going to sign off by telling you, number one, everything you need is in the unit schedule. That's the document where you should always start. Number two, I know that online learning is new for me as well as for you, and I am here to help. So please, please reach out with any questions that you have. The sooner you get those answered, the better it is for everybody involved. And number three, enjoy the last couple days of summer. I'm very much looking forward to meeting all of you in class on Wednesday. Thanks.